Welcome to the TortureCast. It is Monday, August 24th, 2020, and this is episode 204 of the TortureCast, the podcast by and for fans of the San Francisco Giants. And what a week it was in Giants baseball. Willie and I were on last week without Eric because the only thing hotter than the Giants was Eric's apartment, apparently. So we really commiserated over the horrible 1-7 week that they did have, and I think they might have listened to our podcast because they turned it around. What do you think, Willie?
Well, okay. First of all, hello, and I'm glad to be back. But the Giants were not hotter than Eric's kitchen last week at all. They were ice freaking cold. If they had been in Eric's kitchen, there's no way anything would have burned up because they were getting burned. Especially in the ninth inning, it was rough. But I loved that we had a chance to do that show last week because it felt good after, I tend to sit in RSF Giants and I tend to absorb the negativity that comes with, if Wilmer Flores makes an out, they want him DFA'd in RSF Giants, right? Even though he's hit 7 home runs this year. That's just how those game threads work. And it's like kind of depressing to be a part of that when you're in a slump like they were. You would have thought that none of that existed if you were in there this last week. Because this last week, God, Kapler is a god. Everybody on the team is the best player of all time. Yastrzemski is definitely the MVP. And, even Panda hate went away. And now Pence, everyone's talking about how much they loved him. Even though that whole last week they were talking about DFA the guy. He gets DFA'd, kidding. And now it's like, oh, boo, tears. I don't know. The world of the fair weather fan is a strange place.
Willie, you are sounding so vindicated right now, man. You were in the corner on last week's show. I listened to it. I think it was my first night at this hotel, and I was like, wow, Willie, he's just like, come on, man. Like, we knew they were going to suck, but then this week they don't suck anymore.
They don't suck now.
Changes the whole perspective.
The first, by the way, Eric, the first tweet I saw from you was like, Rich Aurelia, you nailed it. I was like, yes.
Yeah, I know. I saw that, and I was all confused. I was like, "Oh, right, he listened to the podcast." I was like, "Where did he get that information?"
Yeah, well, the best part about this is, and while we get started, I'm glad to be back. I'm glad that everybody in my family is okay. I'm glad that we're gonna be able to move on to bigger and better things. I wanted to mention you guys. 7 years ago tonight was the first time I met you guys. And we took in the Giants against the Pirates at AT&T Park. Timmy pitched. I think they won 6-3. Panda had 2 out hits, and we heard Bochy talk about it in the press conference. And then we closed down Zeke's that night, and probably for good.
Right. And you had your sweet blue button-up shirt on, and you were looking so professional. You were looking ghetto professional that night because it was like my pants are a little baggy. My shirt's like, but I'm tucking it in, and I'm here to be professional.
I lived in the ghetto at that time, right? Man. I hadn't raised.
I know, man. It was a lot to come out to SF and be there, but yeah, you.
Now I'm doing podcasts and fist t-shirts.
You rocked it together.
Yeah.
That was a fun night. I want to bring that up.
You know how sad it would have been, by the way.
Great that night.
The Giants have always had a history of like when a guy shows up, we win. Like, it's just kind of been a theme in my life that when a guy shows up for the first time, the Giants always win that game, right? Like, think about, like, Hunter Pence coming over. Think about, like, like Dravecki coming back and shit. Like, all these moments in history where, like, a guy came back or had a big moment or something like that, and the Giants always seem to pull it out in those moments. And when you showed up at AT&T Park that first time, I was like, God, it's going to suck if the Giants just get blown out tonight, right? But that's not what happened. And by the way, the Giants weren't necessarily like the best team in the West that year, but they looked like it that night. And
that was the first night in a month that the Giants gained ground on the Dodgers in the standings. Yep. That's how bad they were. And as we were heading down, Bags mentioned that to us. Yeah, and it was just, we knew they were a crappy team. And it was funny, the next day, I got to see Pablo Sandoval hit a triple. And, like, how often do you get to see Pablo hit a triple? He has, like, 11 in his career.
How many okay, trivia question.
Like
hit up Giants pod. How many triples does Pablo Sandoval have in his career? Actually, wait, let's all guess without looking it up, and then somebody look it up. I'm going to guess
God.
7.
I got to say 7.
Guess
Oh,
7.
hey, jinx.
All right, well, I'm going to go with 11.
11. Do you have insider knowledge on this? Have you looked this up?
I have not looked it up. It's just,
because Yaz
popping
has
off the memory now.
Yaz has 3 this year.
Yeah. Leads MLB in 3. Hey, it won every 10 games, though. It's all right.
Oh, but that
also
was the night
this
I met
year,
you.
This year, right? Joey Bart comes up and we win that game, right? Like, this, the Giants always do this, man. Like, we introduce some new blood, some new whatever, and it's like it just energizes this baseball team, no matter who's putting on those unis, man. It's awesome.
Do we have an answer?
21.
What?
Wait, what?
Wow.
Well, he has played. Okay.
It's a long career. Yeah, it's a long career.
With Triples Alley for a long time, so
it's true.
I mean, I guess,
but still.
That's crazy, man.
Of those 21, 20 came with the Giants, and only 1 came with the Boston Red Sox.
Well, yeah, because who hits a triple in Boston? Like, it either goes out or it doesn't. Like, okay.
Wow. 21 triples, really?
Okay, well, he's got like a 10-year career or so he's hitting a couple a year. It is what it is. So, but yeah,
that was the highlight of the weekend. Meeting you guys and seeing Pablo chugging around the bases and flopping in the third.
It's a sight to behold.
I miss those days, man. I really miss those days. Now that Willie, you're in Austin, and obviously Eric, you only came out that one time, but you're a little closer now. You're in Vegas. But one of these days we'll get the gang back together, as they say, especially after I got some feedback going on here. Especially after everything that is happening this year in terms of COVID and what have you. So, but other than that, hey, look, we're at the halfway mark of the 60-game season. The Giants went 1-7 last week, like we said, blowing 3 ninth inning leads. And then getting smoked by the A's by 12 runs. But they went 6-0 this week. So now they miraculously sit at 14-16, third place in the NL West, which is insane. But more importantly, they're back in the expanded playoff race. They currently sit only in the 7th seed position. So it's just by percentage points. But, I mean, this is a team that we kind of were nailing the coffin closed last week, Willie. And now suddenly they're in the race. And they're halfway done the season. It's pretty awesome.
So they would technically be a playoff team right now.
Yes.
By the way, Chad, I just want to bring up that apparently the live stream, all the audio is getting looped. People in the chat are saying it's unlistenable with the looping sound.
Oh, I think I know what happened.
I would recommend you mute everything you can that's not us. And hope for the best.
Thanks for everybody for bringing that up. I had to re-add Willie and Eric to the podcast tonight, and then I forgot to mute their sources, so I just did. So hopefully it's
hopefully
good
that
now.
fixes that.
Yeah, my apology, everyone.
I only bring it up because I do want, there are people actually participating, which is sweet. But the Giants are, they're 8 games behind the Dodgers. Sure, fair. The Dodgers are a really good team, and we're about to face them tomorrow. So this is going to be like the real test, right? Like, okay, we beat up on the Diamondbacks and, essentially the Angels, but outside of like the one game or whatever. But, we actually are beating the other bad teams. So as a bad team, that's where you want to be, right? Like you're like the least bad team. And like I said to you last week, it's like we didn't expect us to be a playoff team. So I don't know why people are acting like when we blow. I mean, okay, those were devastating losses to the A's because we kept being up and then we kept losing, right? And then against the Angels, we were up again. and then we lost again. And it was just like that, it's like get hit in the gut. It was like playing like Mike Tyson's Punch Out, and you're against like Soda Popinski, and you hit him once in the stomach, and then and then again, it's like the third one. That's when he goes down, and that's kind of how like the fans kind of had to feel at that moment. Like, come on, just enough is enough already. Can we just win a game? We're winning by 5, and apparently not. But then what happened is apparently Kapler understood that maybe Gott isn't the guy. And it's kind of worked out, right? So now here's another point I'm going to make, and I can see both of you guys want to say. But here's another point I'm going to make. A lot of people were saying like Bochy would never do this. Everybody's forgetting that in 2010, the reason that torture became a part of our mantra was that every time Brian Wilson came in to close a game, a runner would end up on third base, like every game.
Yeah.
The winning run would be on second or third, right? And Bochy would not take him out. Santiago Casilla. Sergio Romo obviously was a different case because he's insane. But Bochy was another manager who stuck with his guys and said, this is my 9th inning guy, and I'm going to give him a long leash. And that's not a thing that's new to being a manager. Kapler's not the first guy who gives a long leash to a guy he's deemed the closer.
Yeah, but you're almost counterintuitive to what you were saying about how Kapler's doing anything and just futzing with the roster and just throwing anything at the wall.
That's
and
true.
seeing what
That's
sticks.
True. He should be doing
right.
that.
In a short season, like I was screaming this as I was listening to this. In a short season, you got to just yank guys when they're not hot anymore and let other guys try to do it. And honestly, the offense, as we're going to hear as we go through the highlights, the offense absolutely carried them this week. Plus Tyler Anderson, but I mean. If Kapler is going to just keep throwing things at the wall, he's got to have some leeway to yank a guy like Gott when he stinks like that. I mean, to be fair, Kapler shouldn't have put him in the 5-run position in the first place.
But do you think, though, that Gott wasn't – okay, so when you're the manager and you have a pitching coach and you have – like, as a fan, we're looking at is results, right? But do you think as a manager he's looking at – like, his stuff looks sharp. They're hitting good pitches. It's to me, I think it's like when guys are like walking guys, right? Because like that's what Brian Wilson was doing, Santiago Casilla was doing. Like if guys are hitting the pitch where you threw it where you wanted to, and then they just hit it anyway because they're big league hitters, that as a manager you feel like you're supposed to stick with that guy. Because I think that like okay, if he's hitting the spots and he can talk to his catchers and ask them, I mean, does he look shitty? Like, is he missing? Like, whatever. And I'm sure they have signs for that. Like, hey, man. And obviously, we also have
signs for you look shitty.
That's not Buster Posey anymore.
The ball going over the fence is also a sign.
No, but guys hit bad. Like, guys hit good pitches over the fence in the big leagues. I'm just saying, like we have to understand as fans that we don't have all the information that they have. Like, all we see is that it didn't go well. We don't see why or how or, is there a better option than Gott at that moment? If, let's look back at the Nationals series where what's his name kept getting rocked. And, because he kept trying to throw fastballs past
Hunter Strickland.
Yeah, Hunter Strickland kept trying to throw fastballs past one of the best fastball hitters in baseball, and kept giving up home runs. As a manager, you got to say like, okay, do I go away from this guy? And like we think, okay, yes, but as a manager, maybe they have information that no, he can throw a fastball past this guy. Or, it's like they're looking at a lot more information than we are. So this is one of the things where I like kind of defer to people who know more than me.
Oh, of course.
Like Dr. Fauci knows more than me when it comes to coronavirus, But if 150,000 people in America die from coronavirus, I'm like, yank Dr. Fauci, yank him, dude, get him out of here. He's clearly not doing his job. And it's like, well, maybe the information isn't necessarily like I'm not privy to it all. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not 100% clear to us. Like, I know this is kind of like an esoteric point and like maybe a little bit hopeful, but if Steph Curry misses 5 3-pointers in a row, we're going to tell him to stop shooting threes. Like,
yeah, I mean, everything runs in numbers,
like,
right?
If Gott's fastball still has zip to it and is still like hitting the spots he's trying to hit, is it his fault that they're hitting it out, or is it just that these guys are really good hitters and they're hitting it out? Like, the A's are good freaking hitters.
Yeah.
The A's are amazing hitters. They're hard to get out.
One thing I loved about statistics is I used to do so much of it, I still do in my job, is there's always runs of numbers, right? And obviously the better you are at something, you're going to have less outliers, fewer outliers in terms of the bad performance. But even some of the best players can just run into a wall, like you were saying. Steph Curry missing 5, 6, 7, 8 3-pointers in a row, got blowing 3 saves in a row, giving up 3 home runs, that kind of stuff. That absolutely can happen to the best closers in the world. It's just that I think the psychological aspect, like we were talking about last week, is also really important too, because I think you need to give them a break. And after that third one, I think everybody was on the same page. But
also leaving fastballs over the middle of the plate, so try not to do that.
No. I totally like. That's the thing, though. It's like I don't have all their information that they had. Where was that fastball not where it was supposed to be? Because when we look at it, it looks like he grooved one, right? But like, was he trying to just be a little above the hands or something? And then it was really just like a bad decision. But he was hitting his spots, right?
The answer lies in the question, and actually applies to the Giants having a good week. It all lies in having a smart baseball plan and executing that plan. And like for once, the Giants played better defense this week, and so they didn't give up cheap runs.
Hold on,
and they were able to win games.
Better defense. Can we stop there? Because that's another thing. If you want to blame everything on Gott with those blown saves, you got to talk about Flores not stepping on first base, and you got to talk about guys
Pence
just
taking the bad route to the ball. Right? Yeah.
Like, he probably gets out of those innings fine if they actually take the outs they were given. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, let's look back at the week. We recorded Willie and I on Tuesday, and it was really that afternoon that they started this whole streak. So maybe we were the magic touch. But I'm just going to play a couple highlights from every game. But we had Mike Yastrzemski, which everybody's talking about as a potential MVP candidate, and we'll talk a lot more about him later in the podcast. But he came up
Fernando
down
Tatis
in LA.
Jr. would have something to say about that, unfortunately.
Oh, yes. There's still 30 games left. They're pretty close. But anyway, Yaz stepped up to the plate here.
So here's Yastrzemski. Had a nice ball game last night. Couple of RBIs here. As Yastrzemski hits one high and deep to right. Looking up. Out of here, and it's 1-0.
I'm going to take every opportunity to play these highlights because we never get to do this many.
I love it. Let's go.
It's so much more fun when they're winning.
So much more fun. But yes, they beat the Angels there. Was that day? No, yeah. That was 8-2.
The second game in LA.
Yeah, it was the second game in LA. Yaz and Panda had homers. Trevor Cahill allowed 1 run over 4 innings pitch. Of course, he's just coming back, so they're taking it easy on his pitch count. But the pen finally started doing its job, only allowing 1 run over the last 5 innings. So that was fantastic. And it wasn't one of those sweaty games, Even though as they went into the 9th inning, the bullpen did give up 1 run in the 9th, I think it was. And people were starting to get sarcastic about it. But, they locked it down 8-2.
Yeah, it wasn't like we gave up chunks, right? We gave up 1.
No.
So.
Yeah, no.
And the thing is, too, if you look at the stats, the Giants bullpen is second worst to only the Phillies right now.
Oh, and the Phillies are like historically bad right now. They're like hovering around 9 or something like that for their bullpen.
But here's the thing.
Tragic.
It's only a couple guys. It's not the entire, like, people want to say the Giants bullpen as if they're like all one guy. It's really, there's like 2 or 3 guys who have just absolute trash ERAs. And then we got like 4 or 5 guys who are actually kind of okay.
You got me thinking about some Voltron bullpen guy now. It's just like where pitchers like lock into each arm and leg. It's
I mean, it's
bullpen
important
guy.
to understand that, like, that's
Bullpen
kind of always how it's
nights.
been. Like, if you think about Giants bullpens of the past, there's been guys who have been blown up, and then you got other guys who kind of settle everything down, right? And
Yeah.
But we also have a situation now. There's no more loogies. There's no more. Like, it's tricky. You got to put a
I
guy
hate
in
it.
for an inning. You know.
I hate it. I got to tell you, I was on board with this.
I know
hate
you
it.
loved it when we first.
I
talked about
hate it. This is so
It sucks.
stupid. What are we doing? Saving fucking 5 minutes during a game? Are you kidding me? Let us have one-on-one.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
Throw a
Pitchers
guy
can
in
get
there and you
crushed.
go get the next 3 guys out, and then they put in a pinch hitter, and you're like, okay, if they put in a pinch hitter, I can't respond. I just have no
Right.
response. It's like, what if I'm playing chess against you and you move your knight and you're like, hey, can't move your rook. Sorry.
Gotta wait 3 turns.
Gotta
hate
wait
it.
3 turns before you move your rook. It's like,
I
hey.
had to tell you guys, I totally came around on that.
No, I hate it, but unfortunately, I think it's here to stay, just like the DH. So that's just.
What about the second base rule, though? We all hate it, right? We all hate it.
That should just be this regular season, though.
That is the worst. Okay, they can keep all the other shit, but if they keep that one,
I don't think they will.
I
I
mad
really don't
for
think they will.
years, and it's gonna, like, this might ruin my life.
But then here.
Because
They're
I
not
love
even
baseball.
going to keep that rule in the postseason, right? So
Right.
this is a temporary thing to kind of reduce COVID issues, injury issues, kind of shorten the
I
game.
don't want it
No-
ever.
So,
ever,
they're gonna take it out next year.
Ever again.
Yeah, no, I think 30 more games is
we
what you'll see, and that's it.
benefited from it once, but we got destroyed by it another time. I don't know. It's just so the Giants had one game where what was it? The Padres? Was it the
I was at that
A's?
game when they lost 12-7. Yeah, and it was all in extra innings. Yep.
But no. The other game. No, I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about the game where we gave up a run in the 9th without giving up a hit. We went 3 up, 3 down.
Right.
Gave up a run, and then the other guys struck out the side, and we lost the game. But
Right.
our guys didn't actually give up a hit. It was sack fly, 3rd out, and then the Giants came up, strikeout, and then game over.
Yeah, that's
So
right. It was a ground.
down.
Yeah, I think it was a ground ball. Moved him to 3rd. Sack fly, scored him, and that was all she
exactly.
wrote. Yeah.
Like, I don't want to ever see that ever again.
No.
And by the way, okay, you guys remember Ty, the Astros fan who came on here?
Of course.
Great guy. It sucks for him this year. He is getting berated left and right. By the way, it's a rough year to be an Astros fan. But we've been texting back and forth all the time because, like, I'm rooting for the Astros because I love him. I get it. Fuck the Astros. I get it. All right, but he's my best friend here. Got to give him support. But we've been texting like, why are they not just bunting the first guy? Like, just bunt the first guy. Get a runner on second. Just bunt. Give him a 3rd. You got a chance to sack fly or whatever a guy in, and then if that guy doesn't work, you get a chance to hit a little dinky whatever bullshit thing, and then you score the run and you win the game. No one's doing it. Not a single team is just bunting the first guy in the 10th inning.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? Wouldn't you?
I don't
if
even
I
know.
was the manager, I'd be like, yeah, okay, bunt the first guy. Let's go.
I haven't even
yes,
followed
stop
it. Has it
now.
even happened at all this year? Has one team used that? Has one?
No.
Not one.
And like the Giants would be the perfect team to do it because we don't have. I mean, yeah, we're hitting a lot of home runs, but we don't have like. I guess we do have the explosive offense now that
We do. The Giants
No,
have
that's
it.
the thing. Now
But
they're
still,
doing well.
But isn't it better to just score the one and just try to secure the victory?
I
You
think
know?
you're
It
at
depends
the
on
most
who you trust.
advantage. Yeah, if you hold the let's say your home team, right? So the Giants are home. They go to the extra innings, the 10th inning. Visitor doesn't score a run. I think it's really a good idea to use it in the bottom of the 10th because you know what you have to score.
Yeah.
You know you
If
only
you're the
need one
home
run.
team, bunt that guy over, pop fly, win the game,
Yeah.
walk off, pop fly.
No, I'm into in that situation. Nah, visitor. I mean, maybe because you score one run, you still could win.
I wouldn't do it
but
as a visitor because I'd want to score more.
You want to score more than one.
Do you think that this
generally
is an unwritten rule? Do you think that the managers and shit all got together, like saying, like, by the way, don't hit a grand slam 3-0 when you're up 7, and also
never apologize. Never apologize.
Don't bunt in the extra innings with the guy on second. Do you think that might have happened? Because I think that might have happened.
That Tatis thing was the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Oh, no.
Any of those managers are going to go negotiate Tatis's contract when he gets paid big time. He needs that home run and 4 RBIs. Let that man get paid.
Super dumb. It is the dumbest thing ever. But, yeah, watch the John Boy video on it because that's hilarious. But
I love John Boy. He's good at the breakdowns, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, oh, by the way, so it's an unwritten rule. Don't hit a grand slam here on 3-0. But also, wait, is there an unwritten rule? Don't actually try to win the game? Okay, so, but anyway, like, that might be because there's been forever unwritten rules in baseball that don't really make a lot of sense, right? Like, do you think that there might be that? Because it seems to me that might be the thing. Like, just, okay, we all hate this rule. This rule sucks. Let's,
I don't know if it's mature enough.
Hits, you know,
it's the only season this is probably going to be in effect, and only the regular season. I don't think there's any unwritten rule. I don't know. Maybe, just no one's really been doing it. But again, home team, unless you have a masher up, it just makes sense to bunt them over. But,
Yeah, I mean, if you're really trying to, in a normal extra inning game, if the leadoff hitter gets a double, you bunt the guy to third, don't you?
I mean, I do. But we're not managing Major League Baseball games, Willie.
I know, but
sometimes the answer is sometimes.
Depends on who's up.
The answer is sometimes. You're not going to ask Miguel Cabrera or Albert Pujols to bunt somebody over.
Of course, but when the guy up is like Dubon, like, yo, bunt.
Yeah, well, I totally agree there. Trust me.
Yeah,
he's not going to get a big inning going. He's just move the guy over.
Yeah. Because the best he's going to do is, like, dunk one into the outfield.
But like you said, they're hitting home runs now. I mean, that's how they beat the Angels when they flipped the series back to Oracle Park. And they beat the Angels 7-2 behind Flores and Slater. That was Cueto was pitching. It was like they were happy to be home again. And have you noticed Brandon Crawford started to hit a little bit against the Angels?
A little bit. We had Wilmer Flores, man. He was hot. He's been hot.
High drive
all
to
homestand.
Left. Down the line. It is out of here.
That gave the Giants a 3-0 lead in the third inning, and like Eric said, they cruised on to that 7-2 victory.
Cueto looks good too. He really does. When he's like focused, he looks good. And I know people are talking about, he's great trade bait, but my one quick thought on the trade season is it's not going to really happen. I don't think teams are willing to trade guys after evaluating them for 30 games. I just don't see a lot of trades happening. So I think we're going to have Cueto for the rest of the year and hopefully starting game 1 of the playoffs.
So. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, last week I would have said, Cueto was prime trade bait. And also because he has a track record too. I mean, yes, he is just coming off Tommy John surgery, so there is that wild card. But I think he's a known commodity where teams would have taken a chance on him. But yeah, with the Giants getting back into it now, and they're 7 days away from the trade deadline. Yeah, I don't know if the Giants are going to pull the trigger unless they, shit the bed this week. We'll see.
This happened last year though. Right,
yeah,
where
Madison.
Yeah. We had a really good July, and then we were like, let's hold on to Madison Bumgarner and let's and I gotta be honest. If we're gonna DFA Hunter Pence, I got no more loyalty left in my bones. I think we make the best decisions for the team as a whole going forward. And yes, we're doing well. We're hot. It's sweet. But if somebody comes with a sick offer of a really top level prospect for Cueto, for anybody in our bullpen, for some of the other guys who are hitting well, Solano, I mean, I'm going to entertain those offers, man. I do think that we're better than people expected.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not winning the World Series. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
but why not?
Why not?
I mean, come on.
Because
That should really be in this week's show.
Teams?
Yes, but the Giants.
Been watching like the Padres hit a grand slam every single day, and like
that's fine. The Giants score 7 runs a game. I mean,
no, I know. Look, and I get it, but I want the Giants to score 7 runs a game next year, and the year after that, and the year after that, and I don't want us to sit on guys who are like, I don't want us to keep making the same mistake where we won 3 championships with these guys and we're just gonna like sit on them, and we're not gonna take what would be objectively good trades. And I'm the biggest homer of all time, where I'm like, let's go. It's so exciting for me to watch them win. And I definitely don't want to watch them like lose a bunch more games. But I think we got so much youth that I want to see just get innings and get, plate appearances, get innings pitched. Mm-hmm. I want to see those guys get that, and I also want to see us continue to stock that minor league system.
But that's
that
what
when
Farhan's
COVID's
doing.
over, we actually can win some more championships.
That's what Farhan's doing. And you'll look back at his Dodger years too. He doesn't trade out known quantities and known names.
Sure.
He cuts them. And he finds other diamonds in the rough, like Yastrzemski, like Solano, like hell, even Wilmer Flores at this point, and gives them a different perspective and chance on it. But when he gets rid of like the known quantities, it's when they're way past their prime. I think.
Yeah.
I think it's when they need to be shed.
You got to cut ties eventually, right?
But I don't think he does. I don't think he sells high on those guys, because I don't think he feels like that other people evaluate their players as well as he's evaluating their players. So he never feels like he gets a really fair deal back for somebody like a Cueto, like a Bumgarner, like a Will Smith. Yeah,
I'm not saying I want to trade Cueto. I'm just saying I think we can get a lot of value for him this year, because it's a short season and someone's going to want him real bad if they think that they can actually do it, right? So you have to understand that like this is like the time to sell, because what you have is highly overvalued. And what is Cueto going to be like next year? Like he's in a year after Tommy John. The second year after Tommy John, what is he going to be, like 36 or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
There's not a lot of years after that, right? Like Cueto is a crafty ass guy. He could be like a Maddox kind of guy who like finds a way to extend his career another 4 or 5 years just based on craftiness. But what if we get a stud, a 20-year-old stud who's just going to come in and be the next big thing, the next like Trout kind of guy? Don't turn that away. You know what I mean? Like, don't turn that away over an outside chance in a 60-game season to win a World Series.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the chances of the Giants, going far in the playoffs, let alone winning the World Series, are really, really slim. I mean, even making them at this point, technically they have the 7th slot right now, but that's after a 6-game winning streak, right? And I think
the Giants make the playoffs regardless of trading away some of our best players.
And they absolutely could.
Because I don't think we're trading away some of the guys who are like shocking the world. Like, we're not getting rid of Yastrzemski. We're not getting like Joey Bart's obviously not going like. I think the Giants actually get in. I don't think they do anything, though, once they get there.
Yeah.
But they get learning experiences.
Yeah. But I do think that, having the expanded playoffs might cheapen the value of getting in and might entice more teams to trade. And that's going to be interesting, because you're going to have more buyers on the market than sellers. And that might drive up the price for certain commodities. And so I think Farhan is going to see that and go, oh, all right, well, that's a good price. Let's go ahead and sell him for that. But if Farhan doesn't get the price he wants, it's not going to happen. All right. Let's talk about the next game the Giants hosted the Angels in, Game 2 of their short little 2-game homestand. You had more home runs again.
Oh my God. They
I know.
just keep hitting bombs. It's so fun.
You had Flores, and then you had Brandon Crawford come up and hit his career 100th home run.
Crawford goes the other way, hits it well. It is out of here. His second of the year, and it's 9-1.
And that was a capper.
How good it feels to hear Kuiper making home run calls after wondering if I was going to hear that again anytime soon.
Oh man,
God.
he's been busy this week. But I have a second highlight from the game, and that's of course the prized possession in the Giants farm system, or one of them. Joey Bart, their number 1 draft pick in 2018, was finally called up after all the consternation of Giants fans because he needed only 5 games for them not to worry about him losing a year of eligibility. We talked about that last week. And everybody's like, he's not getting live games down in Scottsdale or Sacramento or wherever the hell he was, right? He's getting practice games. Call him up. Even if he struggles, he's getting valuable Major League experience. I don't think it's going to destroy his psyche. But he comes up, and he absolutely ropes one down the line for his first Major League hit.
Down the left field line, his first Major League hit, and it was a loud one. Belton's going to roll into third. Into second goes Joey Bart. And he's got an average, folks.
And he's got an average.
He's got an average. By the way, there was an article I saw on McCovey Chronicles that said every single one of his hits has exceeded 100 miles per hour exit velocity. Every single one. Yep. This guy hits it on the screws. He just nails pitches, barrels them. It's so sick to watch, man.
No, he is a physical specimen.
He's huge. He's okay. Remember when we Chad? Okay. Remember when we started actually getting access?
I'm gonna cap that.
Yeah. Remember when we started getting access to the clubhouse?
Uh-huh.
And we started realizing even the smallest of these guys are just ripped and huge compared to normal humans.
Yeah. I know baseball players are made fun of all the time.
Ripped
but
and huge compared to baseball players. I mean,
that's a good point. No, he's a big kid and he's still young. He's 23, so he's got a long career ahead of him. It looks like. I mean, over 100 miles an hour. He's got 3 doubles. That one went off the right field bricks. We'll talk about that soon. That's the game I went to. I mean, that thing was a laser. You knew it wasn't going to go out, but it was like, is that going to go through the wall? The pop of the bat, especially with no fans there.
Style? Yeah.
Oh man, it was like, is he going to make it to second? Did it take out a brick? And then the next game, he hits one off the very top of the new center field fence. Granted, it might have been just a double in the old park anyway, but he tattooed that and then the single. Yeah, he's crushing the ball right now. It's fantastic to see this young kid come up. He's not fazed by this at all. I think that's a really good sign.
Once he actually gets one elevated, I mean, he's gonna hit the glove.
Yeah,
he's hitting the glove. I'm telling you.
I wonder if any of the players are joking with him, going backspin, baby, backspin.
501 to the glove. It's happening.
Yeah. He's gonna hit at least 5 this year.
All right.
Yeah, no, I think that's
first 5 this year.
That's a good chance. But man, he hit that first Major League hit, double down the left field line, 109 miles an hour. That's just insane. Gossman wasn't as sharp as he has been, giving up 4 runs and 9 hits over 5 1/3, but the Pen held down the last 3.2 to just 1 earned run, and so they took that game 10-5. And then the D-backs came into town.
Just to put a bow on the Angels.
Yeah.
I think the Angels are the reason Crawford got hot, because they got their ass kicked by the A's, and he probably hates the A's. He's like, I'm tired of this shit. And then the Angels are there, and he's like, man, these guys screwed me up in 2002. Yeah. And he took it personally.
He was a fan then. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, he was.
So he kind of took it personally because he had a great series against the Angels. He was 1 for 3, 2 for 5, 1 for 3, 2 for 3. It was every game he had a hit. It was almost like he was a man on a mission during that week to shut all of us up who have been talking about how bad his bat's been.
I bet Brandon Crawford, all of his dog's toys are rally monkeys. and he's just like, chew that shit up. Let's go. Yeah,
a great idea.
He showed up for the Angel series and he said, let's go. And I went, yeah. It's good to see him hitting the ball hard again because I think in Brandon Crawford's career, he has a history of hitting the ball hard and not getting anything to show for it. He also has a history of, waving at pitches out of the zone and striking out.
Yep.
But he goes through these periods where he just, I'll never forget the Pirates wild card game where he hit the grand slam and he was in that zone where he was just hitting the ball hard and he connected.
Yeah, he fell out of it this weekend though against the Diamondbacks because I think he had no hits and.
The important thing for him though is just don't fall out of the
defense,
right? Don't fall out of the defense, and we're good. We'll
done that twice this week, man.
We'll take your streaky ass hitting, and it's fine.
He had 2 errors this week. That's why,
I know.
you know what I mean? It's like it's so funny, but it's all right that he's around as a veteran presence right now.
Well,
it really
wait,
is
because I
can't
see error where he just kind of biffed it under his glove. They called that an error, so I thought they called that a hit.
Just looking at stats, I saw 2 errors.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Maybe there was another one that I missed, but yeah, I saw one where he just kind of didn't get his glove down, and they said it was a hit. But
gotcha.
Yeah. Well, he has got a little bit more playing time than a couple of weeks ago. He had a heart-to-heart apparently with Kapler, and so I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but maybe he was insistent on trying to get back in the lineup and showing what he could do, and maybe that was part of the Angels' kind of barrage of hits that he had. But like you said, he cooled off with the D-backs, so I don't think we have a renewed Brandon Crawford for the entire year, but it's just nice to see a veteran come around like this, at least for a little bit.
We didn't need him for the D-back, so it was okay.
It was okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So speaking of which, they came in on Friday night. I was able to attend that game. Logan Webb was outstanding, just 2 earned runs and 5 hits and no walks. That was key. Over 7 and a 6-2 Giants win. But it also featured a career milestone homer for Evan Longoria, number 300.
High drive to left. Back is Peralta. It is out of here.
This ball
number
was
300.
Smoked, by the way. This was a big boy home run.
That was.
That was fun to watch again live because without the you had the outfielders, but you didn't have the crowd to kind of judge. But right when it left the bat, it was like, oh man, that's got to be halfway up, and it was a little bit more than halfway up the bleachers. Yeah, he tattooed that thing.
Can I just say, by the way, Chad, everyone listening to this podcast is like, wait, you got to see that live? How?
I snuck in. I mean,
it's
pretty
sick that yeah, it's pretty sick that we get that access as a podcast, but
don't give away
so awesome.
Our hidey hole in the glove, man. Nobody has to
right.
know that we've got a little place in the glove.
That's so awesome that you were actually because it's hard to watch live Major League Baseball right now. Very few people get to see it. You actually did. If I were you, I'd feel very privileged as a human now.
I feel extremely privileged. I mean, definitely for the years past when they've given us access, but this year I had no idea coming in because I knew they were only going to have 34 or so credentials for every game, and I was like, how am I going to get one? And I was denied for one. It was the opener of the A's. But it was like, I'm 2 for 3, right? I asked for 3 games. I've gotten 2 of them so far. And so I guess it's, we're way low on the totem pole, but if they don't have 34, they let us in. So it's been fantastic. And they're just very gracious.
Hey, we're not that low, man. You're getting accepted 2 out of 3 times. That's a
good batting average.
Hall of Fame worthy.
Ty Cobb didn't hit that good. So yeah.
That's right. All right, so then the Giants went and took game 2, 5-1, and this was awesome, man. This is something I did not expect to see, especially because the first quality start for the Giants didn't even come till a couple of weeks ago. But it featured the first complete game of the year for the Giants. Tyler Anderson only allowing 1 run and 3 hits, in clearly the Giants' best start of the year. Yaz made that great catch against the wall. Bart had another double. This is the one that was off the very top of the fence, and the D-backs were very feeling in a gifting mood, so they issued 8 walks, including consecutive walks with the bases loaded, in a 4-run 7th that put the game away. Mm-hmm. But I mean, Tyler Anderson, that was fantastic, going the full CG. So you didn't expect Kapler to necessarily let him do it, but with a 4-run lead, I'm glad he did.
And he let him go with a guy on base in the 9th inning.
Yeah.
I did not necessarily. I tweeted it when the guy got on base because this is one of the few games this week I got to sit down and watch live as it was happening because for some reason I get Angels games. And
Yeah, Vegas gets Angels games, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, Angels.
Weird,
I got the D-back. Oh, D-backs. Sorry, D-backs games too, because that's what this was. D-backs game. I had the D-backs. I had Steve Berthium all weekend. Forget about that, Kermit the Frog. But after the guy got on, I tweeted out immediately. I'm like, don't take him out yet, because it wasn't necessarily a hard hit. He was still getting the contact. Tyler Anderson looked better than anybody's looked all year, and that Yaz catch was the turning point in that game. Because if Yaz doesn't catch that ball, the runner on first is going to come around to score. The runner's going to get at least a triple out of it because it's going to kick off one of the archways there, right where he went to catch it. And Tyler Anderson's probably not long for the game after that. Like, that whole catch changed the whole series of outcomes. And usually that stuff goes against the Giants lately. And for the first time, it felt like, wait a second, maybe there is a little magic inside.
Yeah, he kind of was getting similar, very close to the Hunter Pence chalk outline there in right field.
It was like, it was almost like a 1-to-1, right? Like it was same spot on the fence, the same sort of awkward layout. Like it was pretty sweet to watch.
Yeah.
It felt like one of those moments where it's like Ishikawa, the Giants are going to the pennant, like one of those kind of like parallels within the history of the Giants that is super fun to watch. Obviously, like, not that big, but
no, for regular
season
season games.
Seeing this closely, yeah.
Yaz is just so much fun to watch.
Also, Yaz has had a couple of bad moments in the outfield, like really bad moments in the outfield, like taking really bad routes and stuff. Mm-hmm. He's made a couple of great plays, but he's also had a couple of kind of boneheaded moments where you felt like something's off about Yaz right now when it comes to fielding. Like, he's breaking in on balls and stuff like that. It was good to see him, make a catch like that. It was sweet.
Now, I got a point about him later when we talk about his WAR, so that's a really good thing that you brought up. So, speaking of Yaz, he turned 30 yesterday on Sunday, and he said, "Hey, it's my birthday. I'm going to hit a home run."
On Yaz's birthday, he struck out and he's rolled out to first. Hit into center field and hit well. On the move is Marte. Still on the move. At the wall. Out of here. And on his birthday, Yastrzemski gives the Giants the lead.
Now, this was definitely this was a new bullpen home run. So this was not a home run in the old park. So, but we'll take it. Why not?
Okay, so this would have been a triple 2 years ago or 1 year ago. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, just last year probably would have been a triple. I mean, you might even
barely
say,
got out.
Yeah. Without that wall, you might have even seen the center fielder a couple steps back. You might have gotten to that ball, but
he tattooed it. Blanco out there, but
he tattooed it.
But whoever was playing center kind of came up on the wall, like not expecting it to be there just yet.
Yeah,
like,
I know. You got close.
Like he had a couple
got close.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm really happy to see AT&T Park, Oracle Park, play a little more bandbox-ish, because it kind of drained me as a Giants fan that we could never sign a big power hitter, because no power hitter would ever want to come to this park. Well, if Yaz can hit 7 in the first half of this season, and Flores can also hit 7 in the first half of this season, well, then why the hell wouldn't somebody who can hit a lot of home runs want to come to this ballpark?
Yeah, like, Yaz is on pace for over 30. I think we should go
a little further. I think we should really consider cutting in that whole Triples Alley thing and just really curving it off. A couple more seats, like let's
put a
get
seat
some power hitters to come to come to Oracle Park, man.
Yeah, but Yaz's home runs average out to 42 a season. We have a power hitter.
Exactly. No, I know, but I want another one. I want more of them. I want them to all come. Okay. Do you guys remember when Yaz hit the walk-off? Was that not the most like Barry Bonds swing you've ever seen, like since Barry Bonds?
Yeah.
First of all, he ripped it into the bay. Then he literally just dropped the bat behind him, like super Barry Bonds style. But it was this like short route to the ball and absolute power out to right field, and just cleared the fence, cleared everything into the water.
Yep.
It looked like Barry Bonds, and I was like, this is the thing. We made this ballpark with Barry Bonds in mind. Then Barry Bonds retired, and we were like, oh, crap, there's no more Barry Bonds. How do we get anybody ever like that again? There's nobody like that again.
No.
So we gotta alter our expectations.
No, we have to.
We're not
and that's
going
what
to
they
get
did.
73 in this ballpark.
No.
But can we get 40 again? Like, ever, please? Like, I'm sick of, like, 22 leading the team, you know?
Or 37.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that was, yeah.
No, it's true. It's true. I mean, like that question was, right? I mean, Barry's the only one to eclipse 40. So the
40,
highest
he's
after
the
that is
only
37.
Yeah.
All these other teams
And
have like 40 every year.
When Rich did it, and when Jeff Kent did it, everybody kind of expected it. But when Rich did it, like, that was like, holy crap, this is crazy.
Oh, Rich ate a lot of spaghetti.
Yeah, it was all the pasta and hitting in front of Bonds. That's it. Nothing else. So, yeah. So we had Trevor Cahill pitching well again. 1 run, 1 hit over 5 1/3. He did get the no decision, but he doesn't care about that. Bart got his 4th hit in 4 games. I mean, check that out. He's 4 for 12. He's got a good average. He's got 3 doubles. He's got a 4-game hitting streak. He's looking good behind the dish. I mean, no complaints so far for Joey Bart. Not even if he was 0 for 12, I don't think anybody would be complaining. But I think it's just really, really great to see this kid come up and just smash the ball like he has been and playing to honestly with confidence. It just, you look at his face in some of the pregame stuff, and he doesn't look like the game's too fast for him. He looks like he's very comfortable where he's at.
He struck out the other day, and the way he just carried himself back to the dugout and the look on his face was just kind of one of, damn, I should have expected that pitch. It wasn't like, how the hell did I strike out? It was, I should have expected that pitch. I have to adjust for that for next time. So he's not just the physical.
Right?
He really does. I think this guy's going to be a stud. But then again, I said, other guys have. But
okay, so Buster Posey, when he came up, he didn't get a hit for like a while. Right? Like, didn't it take like a week for him to actually get...
I think he was 0 for 10. Yeah, something like that.
He didn't get a base hit for a while. And I remember I was at... This is like a weird like side story, but I was at a game where we'd called up... We didn't call up Buster Posey, but he was like, he didn't play a game yet. It was still Benji Molina was still like the catcher every day. But Buster Posey was not at the minor leagues anymore, and he was, he was with the team. And at the time, basically all he was doing was catching the bullpen sessions. So a guy would be warming up and Buster Posey would be catching. And some dude hit this is the time when the bullpen was still on the field at AT&T. Some dude hit like a foul ball that went right towards the bullpen, and he like backhanded it without looking at it. And the whole crowd went crazy. They were like, "Oh!" Like, and he had nothing to do with the game. He was literally just catching a guy warming up. But he made this weird, like, no-look behind-the-back catch. And that's how excited we were for Buster Posey at that time as a fan base. We were so stoked to see Buster Posey finally do something that we were like, did you just see that? He caught it without looking. Joey Bart comes up. In his first 4 games, he just he just gets a hit every time. Yeah. This is insane. This is topping.
Why wasn't he up before? I mean, come on.
This is topping the Buster Posey thing. Buster Posey, you are now our first baseman. Brandon Belt, yeah, you're dope, and you just had a really good game. But I'm talking next year. Trade Brandon Belt, Buster Posey, you're our first baseman. Joey Bart, you are the catcher. Let's go.
I'm trying to make that deal for like 3 years, man.
Yeah. It's time, dude. It is time.
I was on the Brandon Belt bandwagon for so long.
Sorry, and I love Brandon Belt. I love that guy as a human. He's the awkward giraffe. He does all the weird things. Jen Kent loves him. But, yeah, like it's time for Buster Posey to just play first base and not get worn out by midseason and actually like win another batting title. And you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
because Joey Bart is the young kid who he catches a good game. He frames well. I haven't seen anybody shake him off yet. Like he's the full package, man. He's the real deal.
Yes.
No, he is, man. I mean, I'm just excited. Again, the only regret is that I wish they brought him up a little bit earlier. But that's okay. We got 34 games.
Yeah,
to see
we didn't
this
need
year.
him earlier. We need him
Whatever.
now, and
It's
we
all
need him
good.
the
So-
next 10 years. You know?
I mean, I think clearly this week, what made the difference? Yes, their offense actually has been pretty good all year. They ramped it up a little bit this week, but their pitching obviously took care of things. They averaged 2.17 runs per game allowed during the 6-game winning streak. But they averaged exactly 7 runs per game. So, I mean, a 7-2 score on average for 6 consecutive games, that's bringing it to the opposition. That's freaking stellar.
And to
see
be
that
fair,
often.
starting pitching, going deeper, and having better starts is what's helping the bullpen stack up
Yep.
better so that Kapler can use guys
yeah,
in
they don't have to
situations he
pitch
wants.
7 innings. They
Right.
only have to pitch 4.
That's the domino effect of the pitching staff. Even with 15, 14 guys on the pitching staff, there's still the domino effect.
Yeah, and what I thought was crazy, it's only 30 games, I get it, but they're averaging just under 5 runs per game, 4.97. That would be their highest since they averaged 5.25 in 2004. So it's been 16 years since they've been anywhere close to that number. So that's pretty awesome to see. Also, the Giants are currently 6th in the major leagues in runs per game and batting average, 4th in home runs. Not in the NL, in the major
majors
leagues.
or the National?
No, in the major leagues.
Majors?
And-
Holy crap.
You should double check
When
that.
was the
out.
last time we
I
were
know
that
they're 6th in the
high?
MLB in runs per game. I might have forgotten to add NL for the 4th. 4th in home runs, 3rd in doubles, and then 1st in hits. But they've also played the most games, so that's
Sure.
kind of part of that.
Well, we've
so,
also had the least guys getting sick to COVID, so
yeah, yeah, not too bad.
Well,
in there.
that's the thing.
It was just preseason
That's gonna
stuff,
piss
right?
me off. Is some
Yeah.
team going to get
No
in the
canceled
playoffs
games.
after playing like 54 games and the Giants get
Yeah,
screwed and they
man.
played all their 60 games because apparently the West Coast is
because they're the
impenetrable?
Cardinals and yeah. The Cardinals.
Yeah.
Okay, this is funny. My stepdad is a Cardinals fan, and we get on these Zoom calls every Sunday for like family time or whatever. And my stepdad goes "Hey, Will, what's going on?" And I'm like, "Hey, man, I'm sorry to hear about your Cardinals. They've only played like 4 games this year." He's like, yeah, I mean that's crazy." And I'm like, "Is it crazy or is it the Cardinals suck at following the protocols?" And he was like, "Oh no!" He was so mad at me, and I'm like, "Yeah, dude, the Giants have been pretty good. We were the first team with a walk-off, by the way, and we did the socially distanced walk-off. So maybe the Giants are just doing a better job following the damn rules because it seems like some other teams." I watched the Giants. I'm like, some guys aren't wearing the masks and some guys aren't doing the thing and whatever. But it looks like the majority are, right? Everyone's got the buffs on and everyone's doing the thing. But there's some teams that I look and I'm watching these games. I'm like, none of these guys give a crap, dude. They're just, they're still high-fiving and hugging and doing, you know what I mean? They're spitting and chewing seeds, and it's like, guys, can we give a fuck or what? Are we just not capable? What's happening? So
You keep seeing it on all the broadcasts. There's just certain players that, you just see them chewing all the time, spitting all the time, seeds, tobacco, whatever it is. It's frustrating.
I get it.
but
It's hard, man. It's hard for all of
They're
us.
habits.
I don't want to not go out and be normal, but hello, that's. Yeah, that's
Slap
the
on
deal
the ass,
now.
I guess.
And
but
we want you guys to keep playing baseball. So can you not spread COVID to each other? I don't know.
no,
It's frustrating to watch. And the Giants, I think, have been pretty good. As far as I can tell, most of the Giants team have been pretty respectful. Most of these guys have been doing the right things. I see them, they get to first base, they pull the buff up, and they, you know what I mean? They're doing it kind of right. I don't understand why they're not just playing with the mask on the entire game. I think that would be the ultimate correct thing to do. Is just
I just think
managers
you
are
got
wearing it, umpires are wearing it, catchers, batters, whether you're hitting or not, just wear it. But
I think hitting's a good idea, but I mean once you're out in the field, unless you're at first base and you're by a runner,
yeah, no, if you're in left
you know,
field, I get it.
Yeah, position players, most of the time, they're going to be fine without a mask. But Giants, also, we talked about home runs. They've hit 1.27 home runs per game. I mean, hitting over a home run per game is foreign territory for the Giants. They haven't done this since 2001. when they had 1.45 a game. So that's been a lot of fun to see.
Barry Bonds back then.
That was when we had Barry Bonds, yeah. A couple other big sluggers.
In fact, that was
too.
a 73 home run season, wasn't it?
It was 2001 because they had the interruption, to the baseball season from 9/11. And then
because I remember because I was on tour and I watched Barry Bonds get the record, not in San Francisco.
Yeah. I was at Oracle for a 73 off of Russ Springer. That thing weren't sure if it was going to go out, but that knuckleball had just enough juice to go out. It was pretty awesome. And then as we were talking about defensive liabilities earlier, he's leading, not the NL, major leagues in WAR, offensive WAR at 1.8. He's the third, though, in overall position player WAR behind Mookie Betts and Fernando Tatis. That's in the National League.
Wait, can you explain to people what WAR is? Because I think we talk about it a lot, but I don't know if it's like OPS. I remember when that started to be talked about.
First of all,
what the hell is OPS?
Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again.
It's good for evaluating baseball players.
Wins above replacement, and I'm not going to get into the formula, but it takes into account not just your batting average and RBI and home runs and all that, but a bunch of offensive categories, including they have offensive WAR and defensive WAR. So offensive WAR also brings in runs created, and that's how good of a base runner you are. What's your OPS? What's your on-base percentage? How you often you get from first to third on base hits. It really gets into the minutia.
An agglomeration of every stat that is available and how much you are better than the average player, right?
Yeah.
So there's an average that is considered 1. If you are the most average player, you are 1, right? Or I guess, are you 0? Actually,
you're 0.
I don't even know.
No, you're 0. So
zero
wins above
is
replacement.
The most average player ever. The guy who
0
doesn't win or lose you games. Yeah.
0 is a AAA player. That's a AAA player. So wins above replacement means if you were replaced by a AAA player, how many and you replace them, how many wins would you create for the team over the course of a year?
Yeah, how many times would your team win more now because you are here instead of this guy? Yeah.
Correct. I do think that we lost Eric on the call, unfortunately. Could be my internet because I think
he goes in and out.
Yeah, I think we lost your video too, but we're almost done here. Hopefully he'll come back in. So sorry everybody who's watching, but he's got a 0 defensive WAR, where Mookie Betts and Tatis have a positive defensive WAR. So that's kind of the statistical hit on his defensive liability, where he's not horrible. He's just kind of like an average player in defense. So. But his offensive WAR is off the charts, so that's where it comes in there. He's 3rd in OPS, 5th in slugging, 2nd in runs scored. So it's pretty freaking awesome. We left off Eric. We were talking about Yaz leading the major leagues in offensive WAR at 1.8. But he's 3rd in the overall position player WAR behind Betts and Tatis because, like you were saying, of his defensive liabilities. His defensive WAR is 0. So he's the equivalent of a AAA player for defense, but he's 1.8 wins he's brought to the Giants in replacement of that AAA player for offense. So it kind of shows you right there that defensive metrics have definitely wrapped into his offensive WAR or his defensive WAR as being 0.
It's funny because I feel like he's looked better in the field lately.
Well, maybe he has, but yeah, just for the year he hasn't been too great. So, all right. Willie, do we have you?
I'm here, but
no, that's all right. Your video's off. You sound like a phone call now.
You guys can't see me, huh?
No, and you sound like you're underwater.
Are you in a phone booth in 1983?
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
That's all right. We're wrapping up. Don't worry about it.
I just dropped it for 1 second.
Everything was great on my end, and then I can hear you guys super well.
Yeah, you just sound like you're in a phone booth, but it's all good. We're almost done here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Donovan Solano, he's 2nd in the major leagues in batting average at 363. Gossman, 3rd in the major leagues at 363. Gossman 4th in K per 9. Webb 2nd in home runs per 9, really low, and Cueto in 6th in hits per 9. So some of the starters showing some pretty good stats there. Pretty excited about it. All right, and as we come to the close of our podcast, we do have to raise your 40, tip a little to your homie. Hunter Pence, of course, as we talked about earlier in this episode, was designated for assignment. Unfortunately, the Giant great only hit .096. He was 5 for 52. Ouch. He did hit 2 3-run bombs, but that was it. Think of it this way. Joey Bart has one less hit than him. And he was just called up.
That's crazy.
Right? I mean, that's just like, ouch. So they pulled the trigger. They cashed considerations for a player from the Rays. Who was that? Third baseman Daniel Robertson. So they called up Sam Coonrod, and Gabe Kapler had to have that hard conversation with Hunter Pence. So as we kind of roll out, we'll say a couple of words, but I'm just going to play one highlight that just really stuck in my mind from 2014, a little bit of his post-game speech.
As we share this vision, we had another vision earlier in the year. I don't know if any of you guys remember the yes movement. Do you guys remember a couple of the home runs we hit with a little yes, yes, yes? You guys remember that? We're going to do this together. We're going to share this right now because I want this vision to come to fruition. We had a vision of doing it with the whole stadium as one. So if you're not familiar, I'm going to tell you guys, you load up like this, load your guns, and when I throw my hand up, you throw your hands up and drop a yes, yes, yes. Are you guys ready? Here we go. Give me a
One more time.
Yes. Yes. Okay, right there. Hold on. Right now, we're not guaranteed another game here at home. Right now, we're not guaranteed that. We got to go earn that. It's a part of the journey. Do you guys want to see another game here at home? Yes. 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 That's what I'm talking about. That's together. Now, when you guys, some of you I'm sure might be coming to Pittsburgh, some of you are going to be sitting in your couches, but you're with us and you're sharing that vision. And I'm going to ask each and every one of you, it's not weird if you have to wear your orange hat or your Buster Posey jersey, or you got to be in your car driving so Buster can hit a home run, or so Affelt can strike somebody out and not throw a scud. It's not weird. Yeah, I don't know why Affelt scud came to mind, but it did. So last but not least, we all want to give you a big thank you. It's been unbelievable. We cannot wait to see you again. One more time, fellas. Yes, yes, yes. Looking forward to seeing you. Thank you.
I mean, the guy is just amazing. It's no wonder how he inspired his teammates, man. You know?
Yeah, I was going to see if we were all... Willie, are you on the call?
I'm here.
So what's everybody's favorite Hunter Pence memory? Maybe we could wrap it up with that.
That's a good idea.
Oh, I can. Yeah. Oh, I can. Do I sound terrible or?
No, you sound a lot better now. You're all good, audio-wise.
Okay. Apparently my video is not going to work anymore, but
No worries.
So the day that the Giants signed Hunter Pence, I was at the ballpark and we were there. Torture Cast style, we had recorded an episode from the Chop House, and then we went and watched the game, and then we heard news the Giants signed Hunter Pence. Then Hunter Pence was suddenly there, and he came in through the outfield, and he was walking through, and he was like high-fiving people and stuff, and we were in the Chop House, and we were like, yo, we could go say hi to him right now. He's like right there. And we were so excited for Hunter Pence to be on the Giants. And we tried our hardest to like somehow get to where he might be. But apparently he just like kind of went into, and you guys know from being in like that kind of area that we get to go where it's like in the bowels of the stadium. He kind of walked through the outfield, walked through the infield, then went down into that. And we were like trying to get there, and we couldn't find him. And then we were just like, all right, fuck it. Let's go to Zeke's. Let's have some drinks. And we went to Zeke's, and we all talked about how excited we were that Hunter Pence was going to be a part of the Giants. And I think it was like me and like, I think maybe Ben was there. Maybe I can't remember exactly who was with me, but the whole night we were just like, this is it. This is the guy we needed. Everything's going to change now. We got the guy. And then guess what happened? We won the World
exactly what
Series.
they needed. It's exactly what they needed, man. Look at him in Cincinnati.
It was that.
You know?
It was just that excitement, that moment, that just like the guy we wanted is here, and we did it. And I watched it happen, like on the TVs in the Acme Chop House. They were showing Hunter Pence walking through the outfield, and I was like, "This is the craziest way to come to a new team." Like he's just here. He's here now, and look at him. He's on the
like
field.
He transported.
Yeah, like it was. It wasn't the way I normally have seen guys get traded to a team. And also, can I just say that growing up as a Giants fan, the Astros were always my second team because my family was all from like the Houston area. So when he was an Astro, when he was a young Astro, he was insane. He was the weirdest, craziest baseball player who hit 25 home runs and hit like 300 and threw people out and, stole bases, and everything about him was just intriguing and weird and awesome.
Yeah.
So I was always fully aware of him. And at the time he was a Philly before he came to us. And the Phillies fans freaking loved him. And I just was like, this is the guy I've always wanted the Giants to like go for, a guy like this. And then we did in his prime. Because I think of a guy like Andrew McCutchen. I always wanted a guy like Andrew McCutchen. And we got him like 3 years late.
I was going to say, we just got him a little too late. Yeah. Yeah.
And Pence was like, we got Pence at the right time. Like when he was that guy still,
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. I mean, and then of course I can talk about the time me and Chad were yelling at him about playing shaman decks in Hearthstone while he was hitting BP, and then he like came back out of the box or the cage and was like walked back towards us. It was me, you, and Veronica.
Veronica, yeah.
And he came back over to us and was like, dude, you know what else I've been playing? I've been playing this other priest deck. And we're like, what? Hunter Pence wants to talk to us? Like, what? Yeah. So, yeah, he's a special breed.
Yeah, there's so many memories. Though, you bring up some good kind of media memories. That time, interviewing him with Veronica in a pre-season thing. Couple times. He's just really gracious, really nice with his time. But as far as kind of on the field stuff, that speech, that memory, what he did in Cincinnati. But I'd say kind of the most physical thing that stuck in my mind was the triple double. For whatever reason, that thing is just like it's indelibly left a imprint in my mind. Like, how does that happen? And we needed it to happen right at that moment. Against the car, I mean, like, come on, like, that was like
physics.
It did. That was like that movie, Angels in the Outfield, right?
Yep, he's the only person who could break science.
Oh, so man, I actually posted a meme that day. I made a meme that day, and it was, he's the most interesting hitter in the world. When he comes up and he hits a double, he also hits a triple. And it was, like just a still shot of his bat completely curving around the ball. Yeah, because it was like breaking on the ball, and then it hit the fucking bat 3 times, and then somehow squirted its way out into center field and
fooled the shortstop. He broke one way, and the ball spun the other way, and it was just like a pull.
I mean, how are you supposed to catch that ball? Come on,
you can't. You don't know it's gonna do that. All right, what about you, Eric?
I'm glad you brought it. I was going to bring up the triple-double as well, and it's just so funny that, like, those things we'll always remember with their proper names. You know what I mean? I think it's just the overall impression that he left with Giants fans is what's going to always stick out. Even with going down the way it does this year, I think Pence is going to stay around. I mean, I know he's going to go back to Texas where he does have a home and he had a good year. But, I mean, like, he met his wife in the Bay Area. He made a lot of good friends for life in the Bay Area. I saw something where Mike Yastrzemski talked about how he now has a friend in Hunter Pence for life. And They weren't even on the same team last year. This is Yaz's first year with Pence. This is like a very, very new friendship, and he has that kind of impact on people. So I think just his impact is what's going to always stick out. And his impact sticks out in every memory that we brought up. The fact that when he got there, like Willie said, he was the it guy. Like me and my wife were watching that game, excited as hell that night. I'll never forget it.
Man. Well, it was an unceremonious end to the year. I mean, a lot of us expected a lot more than hitting 096. Didn't expect an all-star type year, but it was just unfortunate. For whatever reason, he couldn't recapture the magic that he generated with his new swing.
But he did win us a game this year single-handedly. So
yep,
he still is indelibly stamped his fucking He never doesn't come and be himself, right? Yes, he struggled. He hit into a lot of double plays. He struck out a lot. There's a lot of bad at bats, but he hit that opposite field home run, and then he got another hit, and we won that game 7-6. And I'm not gonna forget that, dude.
No, it's his last good moment.
It was another signature Hunter Pence moment.
For sure. For sure. So do you think he lands with someone? Do you think someone takes a waiver on him?
I mean, yeah, I think he still wants to play baseball. And I think there are definitely teams that just want another outfielder. That being said, he's done being an everyday contributor to the contending baseball team. It's just the sad truth of Willie Mays got to be the end of his career, and the Mets were like, hey, can you hit 7 home runs? He was like, yeah, I can do that, but not much else. And Babe Ruth needed guys to pinch run after he, got walked. That's part of human history, right?
It is. No one can
we're
avoid
we're all guys in our 40s. We get it. We are past our prime, and it sucks.
No, I couldn't imagine trying to leg out a triple right now.
I feel like I'm just hitting his prime right now.
Don't rob me of this.
And I think Chad, you're also hitting your prime when it comes to feeding fish in an aquarium.
That's right. I'm good at that.
But let's be honest.
Helping kids with homework.
If we played Major League Baseball, we'd all be a little past our primes. Okay?
Little past.
All right, just a little bit. That's
I think about that actually a lot as I've reached the age of 40. I'm like, damn, it's really hard to think about the world and realize I'm never going to get better at this. I can only maintain. I'm never going to get faster. I can only be less slow than I was last year by running. Or so with playing pool, I'm really good at playing pool. But most professional pool players, their prime is 35-ish. That's when they get the best because their body still works really well. But then you get on the back end, and then all of a sudden you're like, things don't work quite as well as they used to. And I'm like, can't really get better anymore. That sucks, man. And everyone's gonna reach that point, dude. Sucks.
Yeah, if I knew now what I did when I was 18, things would have been a little different, I think. The way I took care of myself and what I did.
Yeah. I can get better at golf than I was.
There you go.
Yes.
Well, I don't think I can't get any worse at golf, so I know there's that.
Well, if you really tried, Chad, you could probably. I bet you could get real good if you wanted to.
Oh, if I actually golf more than once a year, yeah, I could, but that's the problem.
You have to try. That's
gotta actually try. Yeah, it's like you're never gonna win the lottery unless you play it, right? It's
because I know Chad, golf, right? You've done amazing things as a guy over 40. You've done triathlon stuff and Ironman things and things you probably didn't do when you were in your 20s, right? I've watched you as you've gotten older, and you're
physically, I just do different things.
Yeah. And
he's the Joey Bart of our podcast.
That's right. Yeah.
You can get better at podcasting. Absolutely.
Oh man.
Absolutely, you can.
Especially, I'm only drinking water tonight, so hey,
Wow, good for you. Not me. Whiskey.
No, I want whiskey right now, but I'm trying to be good. But All right, well, coming up, the Giants have 3 against the Dodgers to conclude their season series. It's amazing. They're already going to be done with them, but they had their first 7, of course, down in L.A., and then 3 at Arizona. So, hey, look, I mean, obviously the Giants are going to catch the Dodgers to win the West. That's not, in their purview. But, again, if they can take 2 out of 3 and even the season series and just kind of stay relevant in the race, you just never know. You just never know. I know they're going to hit a little stumble here at some point, but if they can play just above 500 ball the rest of the way, just a couple games above 500, they'll be up at 500 at the end of the season, and that could be the number 7 or 8 seed. So it's not too tall of an ask. It really is not. And especially that first round now is not a one-and-done game. It is a 3-game series against the number 1 or the number 2 seed. And, yeah, all 3 games are at their park, but hell, you got a shot that you would have never had in any previous year.
You just get some hits.
So just go.
Get some hits.
Just go.
Get in there.
Yeah, it's not like you start down 5 runs.
Yeah, we'll be talking about a 12-game win streak at this time next week, so it's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, the Giants winning 6 in a row is the equivalent of like an 18-game winning streak, right?
Yes, it is. Of course, they lost 5 in a row prior to that, so there you go. But
so that was the equivalent of a 15-game losing streak. Yeah, but here's the thing, though: if the Giants get to the playoffs, we know all bets are off, dude. Like 2014, come on. 2014, all bets were off.
Yeah, it was like just
we're talking rally enchiladas and shit. Like, let's go. Anything can happen. Brandon Crawford's hitting grand slams, and yeah.
Well, this is more.
That's how baseball works. Baseball doesn't work the way that basketball works. If you have to play against Michael Jordan in a 5-game series, you don't get to walk Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
In baseball, it's not about one guy. It's not about, even if they have a sick pitcher, even if they have a Justin Verlander, I mean, we're still going to kick his ass. Barry Zito's going to wreck him. But you know what I mean? Like, baseball doesn't work the way the other sports work.
No, and the small guy can rise to the occasion. Your Cody Ross, your Ishikawa, your Renterias, your whatever.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
That's what's so beautiful
look at all these heroes the Giants have. And which big name did we have outside of, like, Buster Posey and Pablo? No big names. It was always the randos, the other guys, the guys who you didn't expect, who got the job done.
We got to remember that when Wilmer Flores hits a home run to win the World Series in walk-off fashion.
Edgar Renteria, Wilmer Flores seems like a very possible thing.
Might be the same guy. Who knows? We'll see. All right,
Edgar Renteria, career 240 hitter. It's going to hit the 3-run homer. It's going to carry you to your first World Series win in 50 years. That's how that works. That's how baseball works.
It is how it works.
Travis Ishikawa is going to get you to the pennant with a home run to right. I mean, come on.
And now you can hit one to center, and it's even shorter. So
I love baseball. That's why I love baseball, because it's the most unpredictable of all the sports, and also the one where there is so much like the stats matter so much. You see the way that they're treating baseball now, all these shifts and all these like crazy things that they're doing, because everything is based on all these stats. But you can't predict that Travis Ishikawa is going to hit one out to right.
Nope, no defense for that.
You can't. None. Yeah, there's no defense for that. You can say, oh, well, we're going to put in the lefty for him. Well, guess what? It's going to hit it out to right.
Well, now you got to stick.
By the way,
if
you want to
three batters too,
go watch Travis Ishikawa hit one out to right, because
I often do that. God, by the way,
I've done it a few times,
like once a month
since quarantine started, and
I need to pick me up. So, all right. Well, this was a much happier podcast than last week, but we still had a good one last week. We just had to kind of dig a little.
I was pretty
deeper.
happy last week. I thought we had a good time.
But oh no, we had a great time. But we were
there.
eliminating the Giants from any possible postseason contention, and now here we are, 6 games later.
I didn't. Okay, yeah, Chad. I did.
And now we're like, wait a minute.
I predicted a lot of things, but I did not predict 6 wins in a row.
No, we
true.
did not call for that. So,
but you did get vindicated, and like I said at the beginning of the show, you sounded totally validated and vindicated with the way the Giants played this week. So hopefully they'll keep it up.
Yeah.
Look, you guys know that I'm a very positive fan when it comes to being a fan of my team. Like I'm not one of those guys who, wants to wallow in the sorrow of we suck. I prefer to look at the positives. And there weren't a lot of positives to look at, but what I could look at was we're a young team that wasn't expected to win, and we made some mistakes, but gonna be fine. And look at me now. Look at me now.
Hey man, we got a 30-game season now, and they're in the playoffs. So let's go.
They're not a bad team.
They really would be if the season ended today.
Mm-hmm. So at least they got to start. All right. Well, that'll do it for episode 204 of the TortureCast. You can follow us collectively at TortureCast, individually at ChadK21 for myself, at Willie Dills, at 2 Out Hits for Eric. That's with the number 2. You can also like us on Facebook, where we're streaming this live. I do apologize for the loopback error tonight. I've written that in my notes to check next time, so I kind of re-added them in. But anyway, I'll have it all fixed in post, so you won't have that echo if you want to see the first 10 minutes of this episode. It will not affect the audio recording. But Eric, I don't know what you have going on, except you got a new place. You got a lot of crap going on. And then, Willie, you're going to be streaming right after this, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to stream a little Hearthstone, a little Fall Guys. So come check me out, twitch.tv/WillieDills. At WillieDills on Twitter is where you can find me. Talking about mostly baseball these days, honestly, but also, politics. I don't know, man. COVID. I wish I didn't have
topic du jour. Yeah.
Right. That's why you're talking baseball. All this other stuff sucks, so it's much easier to talk baseball.
The baseball stuff is way better. Yeah.
Right. That's why. When you talk about being positive, it's the same thing.
All right.
Yeah. I only talk about it because it's so crazy right now. But yeah.
It is. We're living through a moment that I think we're going to remember for a very long time. But all right. Well, check us out next Monday. We should be streaming live again on Facebook on Monday afternoon, evening. We'll figure it out. We'll let you know. But that'll do it. So for Eric and Willie, I'm Chad signing off. We'll see you next time. Yes. A boom.
Boom.